Hi everybody and happy new year. So this is the first video that I'll be making for 2022. Um, I'll try to tackle many of the questions that people have in the Brain Directories help group. That's facebook.com/groups/brilliant directories help. Um, that's where I tackle and try to answer most of the questions that I see there that can be answered in short time span. So I found two questions in there. The first one is how we can sort the events um, by last day, basically changing the sorting order. So on several of the features that you have on BD, and remember that to see the features, you go to My Content, Edit Post Settings, and there you see all the features that BD gives you by default. And if you go inside any of them, and then you go to the search results design, there's this additional settings there. If you click there, you have all the sorting orders. Not all of them, and that's why it says here if applicable. Not all of them will have that sorting option there because there's some features that don't have a start date or an end date, like an article, but maybe a job has it, or open house, or whatever the events, anything that you need a start and end to apply to it. So here you can play around with all this. Um, There's also, if you're a developer, there's the advanced edit and search widget kind of thing. So that would you need to know a little bit of PHP to actually go there and change it there. It's easy for a developer, but if you're not, which most of the cases, then here you have all these options to sort it by that, even random one. Play around with that one, and you'll get the results that you wanted. Okay. This is by Steve Jack. This is John. Yeah, he asked this question there. So now here you can sort it by June, July, August, May, whatever. Um, by the start time of the event, end date of the event, or when the event actually got posted. Now, somebody else asked, how can we reset the ID or set the ID? Let's say that this typically happens when you import many times over, and then you want to start from scratch, and then you see that the ID of your members are 3,700 something. Okay, so for 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 this particular case, we're gonna go to the database. So to go to the database, you go to Developer Hub. There, click on MySQL, and while that's being loaded, I'm gonna go to my members. Okay, so here we got our members, and you can see the ID is 77. I have 58 members. That means I just lost a couple of the IDs. So let's say that I delete all these members. Some of them I want to start from a lower number there. Or basically I delete all of them and I want to start from scratch. Okay. Go to the database. Like I said, you do Developer Hub, MySQL database. You go to the once you're inside Miami, click on the name of your database. You don't click on the plus sign. You click on the name of the database that ends in underscore directory. Click on that one, and then on the right side, you're gonna see all your tables. You scroll down until you find the user's data table. User's data table. Okay, and you click on structure. Now you're getting into the deep end of the pool. Once you're here, you click on operations. There's specific operations that are done to the actual table. And you're gonna find this here, auto increment value. So right now it's in 78. Let me explain what that's 78. It means that right now the member with the highest number right now is 77. The next member that gets added to this will get assigned 78. So if I add a new member, I'm just gonna click here, add new member, and I put here something something at something something. Okay, some strange thing, something somewhere. Okay, that's his name, and the company does something. All right, bronze. So there we go. We added a new member, and what's the member's ID? The member's ID is 78. We go here, like if I click somewhere else, structure again, for example, and I come back here, you're gonna see that it says, yeah, you guessed it because it's very obvious there, 79. Now, I'm gonna, because I don't want to delete my members, I'm just gonna give you the idea on how this will work. You set the ID here. This is done at the database level, not at the backend of BD. So that means that this will kick in. If it if what the number that you're gonna put here can actually be supported by the table. So I'm gonna explain what I mean with that. If I try to put here 40 or 1, example, approach, put 1 there, okay? We put 1 there, but the database is gonna analyze if I can actually put 1 there. So it's seeing that there's 59 members here, and the last one that has the ID is 78. So I put 1 as the auto increment value there, and if I go again to the operations, see what's going to happen. It's going to say 79. It's saying 79 again because I can say 1 because there's members there that are using IDs up to 78. And because there's members there that are already using IDs up to 78, the auto increment can be lower than them or equal to them. Okay, so the number that I can put here, minimum number that I can put here will be 79. I could go up. There's no problem with that. So I could do 100. Okay, if I put 100, then you can see what's going to happen here. So I create a member, and somebody else here, something something. There we go. And when I come here, when I refresh, BD creates that. The database is what assigns the ID and does a whole bunch of other things that we actually manage for our partners. But you get 100. So this is the member 100. Again, the rule applies that if you try to set the auto increment value less than the minimum, which is 101, which is the 101 is the highest member here plus 1, next number. It won't let you. Okay. Now, if I do delete this member, if I delete them, okay, and there's no 100, which means the highest number that's there now is 78. I can't do this. I can do 80 now because there's no 100 to force me for above 100. So now it's 80, and if I go here, you can see that I can see the 80 there. If I try to create somebody here, I'll work with the 80. Let's see. You're hearing some backend noises, hits, and other things. Sorry about that. Fresh, and this is how the database ID assignation primary ID. So you get the 80 and all that. So for the question about how can I reset all my members IDs, I mean, how can I reset this user ID count? This is the way you would do it. Normally, what we do is we export all the members, assuming they don't have hosts, stuff like that, because it would be trickier. It is possible, but it would be more difficult. You export them, delete them from the user's data table, and then you reset the ID, and then you import them again. Now, if they have images, that's an issue. because the images are assigned to that specific ID. So 77 is going to have this image. 76 is going to have this image. But if you reset their IDs, then obviously they're not going to be matching. So that's another issue that you got to take into consideration. Now, if you were just importing people for testing purposes and your ID is now, I've had cases like this that they imported 150,000 people, 250,000 people. Their IDs were in the millions. There was 3,500,000 something something. They didn't want that huge number, so they deleted everybody, did the reset with the auto increment, and imported back again. They had a nice clean user ID amount. So hopefully that will serve everybody here, help them with the ID member ID setting. And John and Jeff were the ones that actually asked this question. So hopefully that will help you guys. Okay. So big hugs and think positive as always.